There are women whose beauty defines an era, and women whose lives become larger than the cinema itself. Elizabeth Taylor was both. But behind the violet eyes, the diamonds, and the dazzling fame, was a woman fighting for something the world rarely gave her: a life she could control. This is not the story of perfection. It is the story of a woman who loved fiercely, lived boldly, and paid the price for being unforgettable. Elizabeth Taylor entered the world of cinema before she even understood herself. By the time she could vote, she was already a global icon. Studios shaped her, the public judged her, and her image became a myth long before she had a chance to become a person. But fame is never free. It lifts you above everyone else, while quietly taking pieces of you in return. Elizabeth spent her life trying to reclaim those pieces. Elizabeth was raised for the spotlight. Her mother, a former actress, pushed her. Hollywood embraced her, but childhood slipped through her fingers. At 12, she was already America's darling. At 16, she was a beauty symbol. At 18, she belonged more to the world than to herself. She grew up in a place where every smile was rehearsed, every moment controlled, every feeling managed. And because she couldn't control Hollywood, she tried to control the one thing she still believed in: love. Love became the place where she tried to be herself, where she hoped to find comfort from a world that refused to slow down for her. Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times. The world turned it into a spectacle, laughing at it, judging it, sensationalizing it. But each marriage tells a story. With Nikki Hilton, she sought escape. With Michael Wilding, she sought stability. With Mike Todd, she found passion, until his sudden death shattered her world. Then came Eddie Fisher, and then Richard Burton, twice a love so intense it felt like lightning trapped inside a marriage. John Warner offered respectability. Larry Fortensky offered companionship. Elizabeth wasn't reckless. She was searching for home, for belonging, for someone who could see past the myth and love the woman underneath the legend. But the problem with being loved by the world is that private life rarely stays private. Elizabeth Taylor had one of the most recognizable faces in film history. Violet eyes, dark hair, a beauty that felt almost unreal. But beauty is a double-edged sword. Hollywood used it, the media exploited it, and the public demanded she stay flawless, even as her life unraveled behind the scenes. Every heartbreak became a headline. Every mistake became a scandal. Every marriage became a spectacle. She was chased by cameras, picked apart by critics, and trapped in a world where perfection was expected and vulnerability was punished. The world adored her beauty but ignored her loneliness. Elizabeth Taylor faced more crises than most stars could survive: addiction, grief, health emergencies, public humiliation, 2 marriages that nearly destroyed her. But she didn't collapse. She transformed. She became one of the first major celebrities to speak openly about her struggles, and she refused to be shamed for being human. More importantly, she became a pioneer in AIDS activism at a time when it was considered dangerous, even career-ending. Her compassion saved lives and reshaped how the world talked about the epidemic. Her true power was never her beauty. It was her courage. She lived loudly, loved fiercely, and showed the world that broken pieces can still shine. Elizabeth Taylor died not just as a Hollywood legend, but as one of the last great symbols of an era. But her legacy is not her diamonds. It's not her marriages. It's not even her films. Her legacy is the lesson she left behind. A woman can be beautiful and flawed, strong and vulnerable, chaotic and courageous, loved and misunderstood all at the same time. The world tried to define Elizabeth Taylor, tried to control her, tried to shrink her into a Hollywood fantasy, but she refused. She lived too big, too boldly, too honestly for any box the world tried to place her in. And that is why history will never forget her.